welcome. Have you ever just stopped and looked around and wondered how a completely formless universe, an endless, ungraspable, entirely empty void, somehow manages to pump out the magnificent, infinitely complex physical worlds we see around us every single day? It's wild, right? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly profound piece of Buddhist philosophy, Volume 22 of the Zongjing Lu. We're going to explore this ancient cosmic puzzle, and most importantly, we'll see how this mind-bending paradox relates directly to the nature of your very own mind.
Okay, let's dive into this. We'll be looking at four main things today: formless mind, infinite forms, the ocean of perfect reflection, acting in an illusory world, and finally, the paradox of enlightenment. So, starting right off with Section 1, Formless Mind, Infinite Forms.
The ancient text actually sets up this grand philosophical puzzle with a really brilliant Socratic question. It asks, if the ultimate truth, the true mind, is completely formless and empty, kind of like a clear blue sky, how in the world does the breathtaking beauty of the physical world actually exist? It feels like a massive contradiction, doesn't it? If reality at its core is just a void, where exactly do the mountains, the stars, the cities, and all these ornate physical forms come from? How does literally nothing become something?
Now, what's really interesting here is how the text answers this profound mystery using a surprisingly grounded, everyday analogy. On one side, we have what's called the Dharma body. That's the formless essence of reality. And the text compares this to a pure, raw, true gold. Then, on the other side, we have the reward body. These are the magnificent physical forms of the universe, and these are likened to gold ornaments. Think about it for a second. A gold ring looks completely different from a gold statue, right? But fundamentally, they are the exact same material. The formless essence and the physical manifestation aren't two different things fighting each other. They literally share the exact same substance. So the physical world isn't some mistake or a separate creation. It's simply the true mind taking on magnificent shapes.
Moving on to Section 2, the ocean of perfect reflection.
Now, this requires a bit of a conceptual leap. We have to try and understand exactly how this empty, formless mind interacts with the endless, chaotic variety of the universe without losing its stillness. And to do this, the text introduces an absolutely beautiful concept. It's called the ocean seal samadhi. It describes a state where the mind is completely tranquil and still, exactly like a perfectly calm ocean. Just imagine an ocean with absolutely no wind and zero waves. Because the water is utterly motionless, it acts as a flawless mirror. It perfectly reflects all the stars, the moons, every single phenomenon in the sky without ever moving a single drop or creating even a tiny ripple. The mind doesn't have to try to reflect the universe. Its very stillness and emptiness is exactly what allows it to hold everything so effortlessly.
Listen to this incredible quote from the text. Like a mirror reflecting images, its emptiness does not lose its illumination. Like the sun in the sky, its illumination does not lose its emptiness. Just let that sink in for a moment. In this philosophy, emptiness does not mean darkness. It's not some bleak nothingness. It is a radiant emptiness. Just like a mirror has to be empty of its own image so it can reflect your face, the mind is empty so it can illuminate the entire world. The void and physical reality are perfectly seamlessly united in this illumination.
That brings us to Section 3, acting in an illusory world.
So, the crucial point is understanding that everything is a reflection naturally leads to a bit of an existential crisis. It brings up a very practical challenge. If the mind has no fixed nature and everything is essentially empty and kind of dreamlike, well, why should we bother practicing good deeds? Why take any action at all? It's a huge trap that so many people fall into when studying these concepts. They assume that emptiness equals a free pass to do nothing, just pure nihilism. But the Zongjing Lu vehemently disagrees with that.
To explain why we absolutely must still act, the text gives us this brilliant metaphor about a dream. Okay, step 1. You recognize life is like a dream. It lacks solid substance. But in step 2, you experience the illusion of action within that dream. Let's say you're running from a terrifying beast, or you're struggling to cross this raging river. Now, that danger is completely fake, right? It's just a dream. But look at step 3. The shock, the fear, the intense physical exertion of that illusory danger actually causes your real, physical body to wake up in the real world. The action within the dream was an illusion, sure, but its function, the fact that it woke you up to reality, is absolutely real. And that is exactly why our actions in this world matter deeply.
Let's move to see how this builds across other phenomena. The text outlines how illusions function in reality using 3 really great examples. First, think about shadows. They're completely empty of physical substance. You can't grab a shadow. Yet, they are cast by real forms, and they actually tell you where the sun is. Or consider echoes. An echo has no physical voice box. It has no source of its own, but it responds directly and proportionally to the shout you just made. And magical illusions. They possess no fixed nature, yet they can create entirely visible changes right in front of your eyes. The major takeaway here is that just because the world is fluid and empty of a fixed nature, that doesn't mean cause and effect just disappear. Your everyday actions still create undeniable echoing consequences.
To really drive this point home, the Zongjing Lu includes a rather surprising and honestly kind of darkly humorous anecdote about an enlightened figure named Layman Pang. So, Pang announced to his daughter, Ling Zhao, that he was going to pass away exactly at noon. He asked her to go outside and tell him when the sun was perfectly at its peak. She went out but came running back in and said, "It's noon, but there's an eclipse." When Pang got up from his meditation seat and looked out the window to check, his daughter immediately hopped into his seat, sat down, and passed away first. When Pang turned around and saw she had literally beaten him to the punch, he just laughed it off, admiring her speed. But before he eventually passed away himself, he left a minister with this final, really profound piece of advice. Empty all that exists. Do not solidify what does not exist. It's such a brilliant, grounded reminder to engage playfully with life without clinging to it as something permanent.
Which leads us to our final part, Section 4, the Paradox of Enlightenment.
Now we're shifting from these grand cosmic analogies directly into your own mind for the ultimate realization. Here is the final philosophical puzzle for us. If Bodhi, which translates to enlightenment, is actually just the natural state of your own mind, why do all the ancient texts insist that it cannot be attained by your body or your mind? It sounds incredibly frustrating, right? I mean, if it's already mine, why can't my mind just grasp it and be done with the whole thing?
And this brilliantly illustrates the common trap that almost every single seeker falls into. The text says true Bodhi is realizing the self-nature is already empty. You cannot use Bodhi to seek Bodhi. See, because we cling so tightly to our physical bodies and our racing thoughts, we tend to treat enlightenment like an object, like some shiny trophy we need to go out into the world and acquire through really hard work. But the text is warning us that you cannot use your mind to search for your mind. It'd be like using your own eyes to look for your own eyes. It's literally impossible, because it is already the very thing doing the looking.
This entire concept is beautifully summarized by a quote from the figure Manjusri found in the text. He says, "I do not seek Bodhi. Why? Because Bodhi is me and I am Bodhi." This completely shatters the entire idea of spiritual seeking. Enlightenment is absolutely not a destination. You don't journey outwards to find it. It is simply a deep realization of what you already fundamentally are. The formless void and the physical form are one, and you are inherently a part of that perfect, unbroken unity.
We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today, right from the formless cosmos to the illusions of daily action, straight into the nature of your own mind. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If your own mind is exactly the destination you seek, what are you still searching for? Just let that question linger for a bit. It perfectly encapsulates the ultimate message of Volume 22 of the Zongjing Lu. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the boundless nature of your own mind.